Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Laverne Fuller, and I'm here with the Fuller Effect. I wanted to come on just a minute to talk to you guys about a story that's been breaking on in the YouTube channels. I heard this story from a blogger by the name of Daryl Moore. It involved a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Battles, and the fact that he had been sodomized as a teenager by Bishop George Bloomer. Apparently, as the story goes, is Jimmy Battles was a member of Shirley Caesar's church in North Carolina, and he was a young man that they had do different chores or gave him different responsibilities around the church. And one of his responsibilities was to pick up this minister and drive him back and forth to the church for a revival. And so apparently somewhere in there, some messy business went on. There also was another gentleman involved, and I don't remember his name. But what I got from this is something very important. When Mr. Battles talked about what was going down, he talked about the fact that his mother sent him to church, and she was not a member. And it got me to thinking. I was raised in a church in Toledo, Ohio. In church Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but my parents took us. But I also had the opportunity to see a lot of kids whose parents sent them to church. And here's the thing about that. When you send your children to something and you don't know anything about the people that you're sending them to be around, you put your children at risk. That's just a point fact. We have this thing that we want to believe that just because somebody attends church, that they're good. And so therefore we allow them a little extra carte blanche with our children. Oh, that's Miss So-and-so. She's good. She goes to church. Miss So-and-so. Yeah, Mother So-and-so at the church. Well, Mother So-and-so might be a pedophile. Mother So-and-so, Sister So-and-so, Brother So-and-so might be a drug addict. You got to go where you send your children, because you need to know who they're around and what those people are about. Likewise, when predators realize that children don't have any backup or anybody walking them, you make your children easy prey. You make them easy prey because they know. In this particular case, this minister molested this boy. Other ministers were told about it. They didn't seem to have any real concern about it because it wasn't their child. They were worried about their agenda about pushing the church along. Now, don't get me wrong. It is important to get God's word out, but not at the expense of the souls of these people that you lose along the way or that you damage along the way. I remember being a child, just tell you a little story, in the church where I grew up. And there were kids that came to rehearsal, choir rehearsal, and certain adults did not like those kids. Whether they thought they were the bad seed or whatever the case may be, they did not treat them well. Later in the evening, sometimes they would call back to their homes and tell their parents, so-and-so didn't act right, so-and-so is a troublemaker, getting those kids in trouble. Sometimes those adults were flat out lying. But these parents did not want to believe that Mr. So-and-so at the church, Miss So-and-so at the church would lie. They got to be good people. No, they weren't good people. They were liars. And those children fell victim to these ways of these adults. I'm not saying all adult church people are like that. But what I am saying is that parents need to take the responsibility to go in and make your face known. Get to know these people that you put your children around. Learn about them. Learn about their ways. You have discernment. Get a feel for what those people are like. You don't subject your children to people that you don't know anything about. I don't care if it's church. I don't care if it's school. I don't care where it is in the community. You just don't leave your children out there like that. Now that the stories are coming out, of course, everybody's coming up with their own answers and running for cover. But the only thing I can think of is how sad it is that these boys were trying to do the right thing, to live right, be in church, serve God, and they weren't even safe in the house of the Lord. So I'll say again, do not send your children to church. Take them. Be there. Be seen. Be present. Even if there's a children's church attached, go over and find out who the ministers are in charge of your children. Pay attention to how they communicate with your kids. Because guess what? You can't undo what's been done. This man lived 30 years with the horror of being sodomized by a minister, and then those ministers talked this man down. His whole life is different from trying to worship God. This is another case of what they call church hurt. Somebody who knows they need the Lord, but not want to go to church because the people in the church are so foul. Just something I want you to think about. We can always agree to disagree. I just want to come out here and put that on your heart and put that on your soul. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I'm Laverne Fuller with The Fuller Effect. Talk at you next time.